I love it when I go through, this is Medicare. This is the supplement with the drug plan. This is the Advantage plan. Which one of these are you most comfortable with?
Done.
And then just shut up. Mm-hmm. We bail them out too many times.
We do.
Because we don't like that uncomfortable silence. Whatever cheesy line you're using at the end, you got to ask them, hey, which one of these would you prefer? Or which one of these just best suits your needs? Whatever it may be, you have to ask. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Medicare Sales Playbook. I am your co-host, Dallas Keithley, here today, again, joined by there's a lot of things we could throw in there.
Really excited where you're going with that.
Ever-growing, ever more knowledgeable Matt Smith. Welcome, man. Medicare.
That's really
Matt.
kind. I really appreciate that.
There was a way there was a fork in the road there.
And they put my face on a banner, and now I just keep coming back. So
yeah.
So listen, hey, if you're trying to get yourself a steady gig, make them put your face on a banner, and they have to bring you back.
Yeah.
Word of the wise.
We do have spray paint, so it's not exactly tenured, but I appreciate what you're saying there. Guys, we appreciate you guys jumping in and all the likes and comments. We've been out on the road, man.
Yeah.
We've been at the Medicare Sales Playbook boot camps. We've been to, where we been? We've been to Oklahoma City, Tulsa,
St. Louis,
Kansas City. It feels like more.
It does feel like more.
No, they've been good. We've had a good time going this week to Arkansas, Little Rock and Fayetteville, and then Des Moines and Omaha. Where else? Where are we going after Des Moines and Omaha?
Memphis and Nashville.
Then Columbus and Cincinnati, Ohio.
Some point in time.
Yeah. So, guys, we appreciate all that you've been doing, all those that have attended. We've got great feedback from these things, and it's just been a good time. A lot of information's been shared. We got to meet a lot of great people. But, yeah, if you want to attend, go to MedicareSalesPlaybook.com. MedicareSalesPlaybook.com. You can go in there. You can register for the event. It's completely free.
Yeah.
I did see Matt collecting money at the door. I didn't ask questions.
I couldn't do that, though.
Exactly. But it's mostly free. No, it's completely free. And we're giving out the Medicare Sales Playbook. Yeah. And we are not marketers. So that has that same, it sounds like we stutter there at the end, but it's the playbook. And people have enjoyed that. But today, want to jump into a topic that a lot of people struggle with. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we can help you today for those out there listening. Why can't I close? I'm getting in front of people. Yeah. First we and we've been doing this for a year now. I feel like we've taught people how to prospect, how to get in front of people. Mm-hmm. So now let's say you're getting in front of people, you're seeing the 10, 15 people a week and you're just not closing. We want to attack that a little bit. And because I don't know about you, but I think Medicare is probably the easiest to close
and we
out
say
of all
that,
the products.
And we say that a lot. We say that, selling Medicare ain't the hard part, it's having a sale to make. Uh-huh. And we say that because, it is true in a sense. Yeah. There's some obvious things that we're going to talk about today that, there are reasons why you can't close because you have to be intentional. And so, yeah. I'm excited for today. Yeah. So yeah, we'll go over a lot of these things. I don't know what just happened there. We will go over a lot of these things and hopefully help you out today. We want your feedback too, though. Why can't I close? Maybe some things that have helped you. If you're here's the cool thing about this show. We've got what we're finding as we go across the country. We've got agents that have been in the business 20 years that are listening. Mm-hmm. Thank you. We've got agents that they're working on getting their license. Yeah. So one thing we want to do, somebody said you should start a Facebook group. I would rather shave with a weed eater than start a Facebook group because that's just inviting negativity into your life. It is. But we do want to create a community where people can help people. So if you're a person out there and you say, hey, man, this helped me, we'd love to hear it. But let's jump right in. Let's go. So number one reason, you wrote this one down, you are creating objections. Yes. What do you mean by that? I mean that before you ever sell it, you're already coming up with all the reasons why it's a bad idea. Right. So what are some common objections in the Medicare world? They're not going to need this. Mm-hmm. So we think about like a hospital indemnity plan, right? If we were talking about cross-selling, they're not going to need this. They're healthy. Well, we don't know that. Yeah.
So you're saying, as I'm sitting there talking to you, you're sitting there going, "Oh, they're not going to like that."
Yep.
So I'm going to show you the hospital. You're probably not going to need this.
Yeah,
you seem
exactly,
like a healthy guy.
Yeah.
But I got to show it to you anyway.
Yeah. They show them. We create an objection for one product over the other. So maybe it's a MAPD because we just don't think they're going to like the networks. So we skim over them.
Yeah, the network's not good in this one.
Yeah, so you're probably not going to like that, which that's going to get into a whole other topic here, so I don't want to jump into that. But.
Yeah. Other objections, you've probably already heard this. Or, the nice thing about objections, they will present themselves.
They absolutely will.
You don't have to.
No.
The objections will come out. Now, what are some things we can do now? On the other side of the spectrum, we've got people that are creating objections. I believe in going even a step further, not creating objections, but also hitting objections before they come. Right? So if I've sold a plan 20 times, humans are creatures of habit.
Sure.
I'm going to hear the same thing every time. The network.
Yeah.
Does my doctor take this? So as I'm going through the sale, as I'm going through the education, I don't even like using the word sale. As I'm going through the education, there are things that I could be saying ahead of time to go, for example, the hospital indemnity plan. Hey, you can see here, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that you got to pay $295 a day for days 1 through 5. I'm going to show you how to cover that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to show you how to get reimbursed for that. Yeah. Remind me later. Yeah. So you're going ahead. So pay attention to what they're saying as you go through and make note of that. I think everybody ought to sit down after an appointment and make notes. Hey, they said this. I could have said this. They could have this. Yeah. And then next time, conquer it before they even come up with it.
I mean, I think this, this is hard enough the way it is.
Yeah.
Without us, digress to a quick story. I took my kids out to play golf this weekend, and my 9-year-old, he's all into wanting to hit the ball from further away than he needs to. And he's like, "Dad, I want to hit from back here." And I'm like, "Dude, why? You are making this sport harder than it has to be.
Yeah.
It's already tough enough. Yeah. Why make it harder?" It's the same way when we're creating objections, when we're with our clients. Like, this is already hard enough. You've done the hard thing of getting in front of them. Why are you now making this more challenging by telling them all the things that you don't think they're going to like in a way that they're not going to like them?
Right. And, when it comes to objections, like I said, Medicare, when it comes to objections, and we don't want to make this a class on objections, but there are two types of objections. There are natural objections. I would say objections that we feel like we have to say something.
Sure.
You could present the perfect plan. I use these, so now it's CMS compliant. And if you're listening on Spotify, I shouldn't use air quotes, but you get what I'm saying. We feel like, if you could present the perfect plan, it covers every doctor's in network, covers their prescriptions 100%, their vision doctors in network, their dental doctors in network, everything they want, they are going to say something.
Sure.
Then there are real objections. Objections of, man, I don't like this. I don't like that. The important thing, I think, you say it a lot. There's enough people out there that are going to call me stupid and dumb. I don't need you to call me stupid and dumb. What do you mean when you say that? Like when it comes to objections?
What I mean by that is that objections are real and they're for a reason. So if you're my client and you have an objection and I just kind of put it off, in a way I'm telling you that your concern isn't valid and things like that. And I always use the phrase that, I know I'm dumb and stupid a lot, but when somebody tells me that my concern is dumb, like I don't like that. So. Right. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, it's just giving it the appropriate amount of time. And they're hard because you can't give it too much time.
No.
Like if I come up with an unreal objection, like a natural objection, we want to think about this for a while. With objections, you always do the 3 A's: agree, answer, ask. Listen, I appreciate that. This is an important decision.
Yeah.
I agree you want to think about. Let me ask you a question. What part of it do you want to think about? Which one of those is giving you the hindrance of, do we really want that? So agree, answer, ask.
Maybe I didn't explain it well enough. Or,
exactly.
I think the other one, and I don't know if you ever had a client like this where you sat down and like, this client is a home run, right? Everything is perfect. You as the agent, like we almost feel like we need to give an objection because it's too good to be true. Have you ever felt that way?
Yes.
Where it's like, maybe I should point something out. But the fact is that every now and then you just get a slam dunk client. And you're right, they're going to come up with something, and that's okay. I don't need to give them ammunition because it's a quote unquote,
like we're worried
situation.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah. And maybe I don't know how to explain that it's not.
Yeah, that's a great one. Or the other side of that coin is you look at this and you're like, this is a no-brainer. You've already got the app pulled up and they're like, no, we're not doing that. And maybe it's because, you think you're playing you're playing the Rockies, but you got the Dodgers next week. That's baseball. But you're overlooking this game to get to the hard one. You're like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Just sign here.
Yeah.
And we don't do a good enough job explaining everything because to us, it's a no-brainer. But to them, it's still an important decision.
Yeah.
So taking the right time, the right amount of time of objection.
Don't make this game harder than it has to be.
Exactly. My next thing we wrote down was, are you selling or are you educating?
I love that one.
Nobody likes to be sold.
No.
Right? Nobody likes to feel like we're being pushed into something. Like you ever sit down with somebody and you kind of feel like you need a shower after you talk to them? Like, gosh, I just feel greasy. I feel slimy. Like,
yeah, which is why I go take a shower after these episodes.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. But Medicare is about educating.
It is.
It's about making sure they understand everything. I did some seminars last week in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and I had a lady come up to me, and I hear this almost every time I do a seminar. She says, we've been to 4 of these things now. And she goes, I promise we're not just going for the free meal. She goes, I finally understand it, right? Like you made it so simple. She goes, the other guy kept talking about like the bill that was signed in 1984 and then it led to this. And she goes, I don't care about that. Like, so, and I want to, every time I hear that, because I don't feel like I'm the smartest guy in the room, right? Like I know Medicare.
Sure.
But every time I hear that, I want to go hear one of these guys and just be like, what are they saying? Because this isn't hard.
I think it's that over-education mindset. Like we're educators, we're not salespeople. So if I'm not selling them, I need to tell them everything they ever need to know,
right,
to be able to make the sale, which is bananas because I don't know the bill that was signed back then. And I'm sure we're not going to try to explain it to somebody.
Exactly.
But in this selling versus educating mindset, do you think, and this can be, I don't know if this is an easy question to answer or not, it might be kind of tough, but do you think there is a specific agent or a specific time in an agent's career that they sell versus educate?
Yeah, I think it's in the beginning.
Me too.
Because you got that commission breath and you're like, oh, I got to do this. 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 And they feel that. And so, with Medicare, we're going to get into this more later. I think the selling comes to trying to push them down a certain path versus this path. I think early on in the career, I think you learn and you're like, okay, if I don't make this, I think it's important to go into every sale, every opportunity with the idea of, I am going to put these people in a better position. If I can't, I'm going to walk away.
Sure.
And that's okay.
I think it happens a little bit later on in the career too. Whenever you get to a certain knowledge level, there tends to be that I'm the expert. So it's not really like I'm trying to sell them for the commission. I'm trying to sell them on my ideas.
Yeah.
So I think it happens a little bit then as well, where it's like I just walk in and say, this is the right plan and this is why you're going to do it.
Right.
So you're selling let's be honest, sometimes you get to a point in your career where you start making really high overrides and you start selling that's not compliant, but people sell on a plan that they get the most overrides or commissionable dollars back on. So I think it happens on both ends, but I agree with you. I think it happens the most at the very beginning because if I don't sell anything, I don't make anything, and that stinks.
Yeah, it's just that shake of, oh, I've got to do this. Yeah. Now, I was sitting here thinking, okay, so we're telling people how to do this. How do we overcome this? To me, I think it's very important, and I've watched a lot of great agents do this, ask questions throughout to make sure that your client is tracking with you.
Sure.
So if you're educating and you get to the end and you're watching their body language, they're leaned back and they're looking at the ceiling, or they've just got this look of like, what is he talking about? You've not so what we do, and I've seen you do this too, we explain, here's what Medicare is. Medicare Part A, Medicare Part B. And if you haven't watched our presentation, go back and watch that. Medicare Part A covers this. Medicare Part B covers this. And the important thing is, do you understand?
Yes.
So remind me, how much is Medicare Part A?
Yeah. It's a conversation. Like that's where I think it's hard to shift sometimes, and agents just learn that by experience. But this is, it becomes a sell whenever we're not engaging our clients. It's education whenever you're right. Hey, here's what A and B covers. This is the typical cost. Any questions? Just a reminder. Hey, what did you say? As we go along, what was that Part B premium? Do you remember what that was?
I always say there's going to be a quiz.
Yeah.
So take notes.
Yeah.
And I love it when one of the things when I'm doing a seminar, I stop a lot of times. I'll be like, hey, how much was Part B? And if they sit there and go, oh crap, what was that? I know I've not done my job well.
Yeah.
Like I should say it just enough that it's on the front of their brain.
Yeah.
So hey, we
love
sell
that.
or educate. What else we got?
Next one.
Yeah.
The next one here is, and we've talked about this quite a bit, is selling with our own wallet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I was bad about that.
And this is one that you like to talk about, Dallas. Whenever, and I know we have discussed this a lot, but that sounds like an odd thing to be like, I'm trying to sell you something with my wallet. But what's that mean?
So it means you go into a home and you, in your head, set up an expectation, or you set up, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're right? Like you walk into a house and you're like, oh, this is Advantage plan. This is not, these folks are not buying a supplement. So you're like, okay, there's two options. One, you could do a supplement. It costs you $110 a month. You'd have to purchase a Part D drug plan. That's $28 a month. But let me show you this Advantage plan over here. Mm-hmm. And so we sell with our wallet, like, for example, and I think this affects new agents especially. We don't want to push the hospital indemnity plan. We don't want to cross sell because I've got $4 in my wallet and I owe you $3 and I got to buy lunch.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, oh gosh, another $30 a month. If I ask them about that, it's going to blow the wholesale. I can't. Yeah. I've got $4. I know these people are in the same boat as me. I get to travel the country and do these seminars. In Mississippi, it's their supplements are really, really expensive, right?
Yeah.
In New York, I don't know why they hate insurance, right? It's just, but what I tell my agents is,
they do,
guys, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like you can't pull up a supplement and be like, oh, in New York, it starts at $350 a month. Like, yeah, here's the supplement. Like it is what it is. Yeah. And it's the same for every agent out there.
Yeah.
So don't sell with your own wallet with the expectation of, oh, they're going to hate this. I hate it, so they're going to hate it.
Yeah, I heard someone say one time, if we're all miserable together, we're happy together.
Yeah.
So it's when we go and look, you're not doing anything to that client. Like I didn't do this to you.
Yeah, I didn't write up these rates before I came over.
And if I did, it'd be a lot higher commission. That's how, these would be like 75% commissions if I wrote them.
Lower premium and higher commission.
No, higher premium, higher commissions. Yeah, all about that money, baby.
Man,
stickler.
Poor Miss Betty. Yeah, the next one we've got is you sell with your preference.
Yes,
it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
right. Like you go in and you like the Advantage plan in this area. Like when I'm in Florida, I almost want to say, look, if you don't go with an Advantage plan, you're a moron. Like now, you can't say that.
No.
Because some people, they like the supplement and all that stuff. And there's reasons they may want to travel and get, cancer treatment in Tulsa or wherever that may be. So but we go in with preconceived notions that this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I know, again, these all things we talked about, but that bias that you walk in there with is like, I heard an agent, again, we talked about stories. I heard an agent one time say, I only sell what's best for my clients. So I don't even take the AHIP. And
I would like to speak with this young man.
And that's just not, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Maybe, no. Yeah, it's not. So walking into your house, walking into a home or walking into a meeting and saying like, listen, this is the best thing on the table and this one will tell you about. You're already pigeonholing your clients right there. Mm-hmm. And you're just waiting for that next agent to walk through and be like, did you know that there's another option?
That's where I wanted you to get.
Yeah.
When you do not present because I'm telling you guys, I've been doing this long enough, I could make the worst plan in your area, the least beneficial plan in your area. Sorry, CMS. I could sell that.
Yeah.
Have you seen the gas card they got with this sucker? Like you understand gas is the most expensive thing out there. And this one gives you $50 in gas every single month. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I've never heard of this carrier and they don't cover any of my doctors. Yes, but you can drive to your doctors for free.
Yeah, the new doctors.
The new doctors, yeah. So I could push that. And if I don't tell my clients about all this stuff and educate them on all this stuff, somebody else will, and they'll bite.
And I think you can wrap all that and say, like, even if you're selling with your own wallet or selling with your own preference, put the product in front of them. Even if you already know that you think it's going to be too expensive, just do it so that somebody else doesn't come in and steal your client.
Yeah.
Like surprise them with a hospital indemnity plan. Be like, I only have $30 to spend, but I'll spend it on that.
100%.
Protect yourself.
And two, I believe that we can do what we want to do. And I think every person. So if I come to an end of a sale and they are not interested in the hospital indemnity plan. Now, if I'm selling a D-SNP or whatever, and they just do not have the money, I get that. But 94% of the population, if they really want to spend $30 a month on a hospital indemnity plan, or $60 a month on a cancer, heart attack, stroke, hospital indemnity, all of it combined, if it's really important to them, right? Like most of the purchases I make in my life, I justify.
Sure.
Man, I could really use some new shoes, and oh, look, those Nikes just came out. Like I would make more sales if I had these Nikes. It would be a warm-up conversation and people will respect me more. And really they're buying me. So if I don't buy these, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
We all get there. So we can buy what we want to. So if they come to, and there's 3 reasons people buy anything. 3 reasons and 3 reasons only. From a piece of gum to a Chevy pickup truck. Need, like, cost. Need is covered in Medicare. Mm-hmm. They have to have it.
Yep.
Now you say, well, Dallas, they could stay with their group plan. Need is covered. They have to have it. Like, do they like me? Do they like the plan?
Sure.
And then cost, can you afford it? Mm-hmm. And it should be in that order, because if you put cost first and need and like second, cost can't ever be the determining factor.
Of course.
Right. So,
of course.
So we've said you've created your own objections. You're selling versus educating. You're selling with your own wallet. You're selling with your own preferences. The last one we have here is you are not asking closing questions.
Yeah.
You have to get a little bit uncomfortable.
You do.
Even in a Medicare appointment,
mm-hmm.
You have to ask the hard questions. And I think you have to ask them 3 times. Now, don't be boy, I almost said it. My daughter's in there. Don't be a ninny. Thank you, Elf. Yeah. And just ask the same question 3 times.
Sure.
But you have to ask in 3 ways. So I believe, number 1, closing questions start at the beginning of the appointment.
Love that.
Right? So my first closing question, I had a young man come to my door, and I tried to hire him because he said, Mr. Keithley, could we come to an agreement in the beginning that you are not going to say, I want to think about this? And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, sir, I'm going to give you all the information, and I'm really good at giving information. So I'm going to give you all this information. At the end, I'm going to ask you, is this something you would like to do today? He said, a lot of people will say, you know what, I want to think about it. And he said, a lot of people say that because they like me.
Yeah.
But it's a polite way of saying no. So I'm going to give you permission today. No is okay. And I love that.
I love that.
Because it gives you a little bit of relief. Like I tell people all the time, hey, look, my wife's already been to the store today. She's already bought dinner. Like she's making spaghetti tonight. So whether or not I make this sale is not going to determine whether I eat ramen or real noodles. The Barilla or Berea, whatever you call it.
Ramen's not real noodles? I
don't think so.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's not good for the Italian dinner I'm having tonight, so.
Yeah. Italian. So I think setting it up from the beginning, and mindset is a huge thing. So if you're going into a sale, I want to ask you this. If you're going into a sale, even in the car, how are you setting your mindset to, I am going to walk out of here with an application?
I do it just by that. I know everything I need to know about this client. I'm going to explain everything they need to know. So you've done your
work ahead of time.
I've done my homework. I know I'm good at teaching people, so I'm going to educate them, and they're not going to have any questions when I get done. And at the end of the day, I will walk, or not at the end of the day, I hope, at the end of the appointment, unless it's the last one of the day.
Sure.
At the end of the appointment, I will walk out of here with an application. Wow. I mean, it's just like that.
Yeah. And Jordan Belfort once said, he said, look, if I go into a home, he said, I had somebody tell me, if I go into a home, I'm not leaving without a sale. He said, that's stupid. You got to do what's best by your client. Yeah. He said, I like to say, if I go into a home and there is a need, I will sell this client.
I love that.
Like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So more closing questions. I always, in final expense, which I think that's why I'm good at closing, is because I sold final expense first.
Sure.
And that one you have to close.
You gotta sell
it's a
that.
hard close. It's a sell, right? So Medicare, I think we just have to ask the uncomfortable question. Brian Tracy, The Art of Closing the Sale, to me is one of the best books ever written on closing. The Art of the Sale. With Brian Tracy, what he says, he loves the shut up method. In other words, you present, you ask the question, and then the first one to talk loses. On the Medicare side of things, I love it when I go through, this is Medicare. This is the supplement with the drug plan. This is the Advantage plan. Which one of these are you most comfortable with?
Done.
And then just shut up. Mm-hmm. We bail them out too many times.
We do.
Because we don't like that uncomfortable silence, right? Yeah. So just which one of these are you most comfortable with? Which one of these are you leaning towards?
Yeah.
And they will eventually. Now, what if they come back with a question? Well, which one would you pick? What's your answer to that?
Doesn't matter which one I would pick. It's your situation here.
Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate that. Yeah. But it doesn't matter, right? Well, and you can tell.
Or better, what does your family have? Well, I got family members on both.
Yep. My mom has one. My dad has the other.
Yeah.
Is what I go to. And so just that uncomfortable silence. But a lot of people, I've been on appointments where they never actually stopped and asked them, which one do you like? Or maybe it's, what questions do you have? Or what would keep you from doing this today? Whatever cheesy line you're using at the end, you got to ask them, hey, why wouldn't, which one of these would you prefer? Or which one of these just best suits your needs? Whatever it may be, you have to ask.
And, something that a lot of agents don't do is you ask the questions, but there's certain things that you can do to prepare at the beginning of the sale to get one. Mm-hmm. I was trained, the way that I was trained to sell was, at the very end of it, I, trained in our close. But what I found out, the thing that made it the easiest in my life to sell was at the very beginning of that appointment, I got the red, white, and blue card in my hand.
Nice.
If I've got the red, white, and blue card in my hand, I've done most of the work already.
Yeah. What do you mean to expound on that?
So at the end of the sale, so like at the very end of it, the way that I was trained is that, hey, if you can get your red, white, and blue card out today, we'll go ahead and get this started or something like that. But what I found was that led for an opportunity for them to be like, well, I have to go find out where it's at. So I'd start out the meeting. Hey, listen, I got to get a couple of things set up. While I'm doing this, would you mind to go grab your red, white, and blue card and bring it to me? Mm-hmm. So we start at the beginning, and I wouldn't even start my appointments until it's sitting right there.
I love that.
And so by the time we get started, like I've already done the hard work, like I have everything I need to enroll them sitting right here in front of me. And it sits right here where they can see it the whole time. And then at the end of it, you just have to ask the question, and that objection is gone. So you've eliminated an objection right there. I don't know where my card's at. Well, right there. So that's something that I would do. And that's a good way, just to prepare for the close at the very beginning of the sales. Go ahead and get the red, white, and blue card in your hands, and you've got the info right there.
Because a couple things that does too is, one, it tells where they are in the process. Mm-hmm. Nothing worse than getting to the end of the sale, and then you're like, oh, by the way, when are you wanting to start this? And they're like, well, I turned 65 in 3 years. And you're like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Or two, the second thing it does, it establishes trust. They've already given you a government document that has their information on it.
Yeah, I can see when it is. Yep. And when I started doing this, I'll tell you a very quick funny story, and we're running out of time here. I had a gentleman walk into my office who was deaf. Walked in, came in by himself. He was deaf. So I had a presentation. I showed him. I had to write things out, right? I spent 3 hours with this individual. I showed him things, said, Medicare and he was like, got it. Yeah, good to go. I got to the very end. I've been writing this presentation out for 3 hours, answer all this stuff. At the very end of it, he didn't have Medicare. And so I decided at that point in time, I will never, ever start a meeting without knowing good and well that it's right there and they're ready to go.
Yeah. I love that. And guys, again, when it comes down to it, if you get we don't really want to, find out why.
Sure.
Like I said, I take a yellow pad and I write need, like, cost. So Matt, let me ask you, the first one there's 3 reasons anybody buys anything: need, like, cost. Do you feel like you need this plan?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Government says you have to have it. So we got to do something, right?
I got to have it.
Let's cross that one off. Like, Do you like everything I've shown you here? Do you like me? Because listen, I'll be honest, and I'm going out on a limb here. Every agent in this county can sell the same plan that I'm showing you today.
Yeah.
So do you like what I have to bring?
Yeah.
Okay. The last one is cost. A lot of people say, you know what, I want that, but I can't afford it. And the nice thing about Medicare is we can overcome that.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you can afford this today?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's cross that one off. So with those three out of the way, I can't think of any other reason why we wouldn't go ahead and get this going today.
Sure.
Is there something I'm missing?
I mean, I'd like to throw objections at you all day long, but no.
Okay, perfect. So which one are you feeling most comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
So get those objections. Sometimes you can even do that. You might be throwing an objection in too early, but I do that when either they've said no or I can feel the no coming. Like they're back with their arms crossed, or they're not listening. They're ready to, they're watching TV. Hey, let me do something real quick because I don't want to waste your time, and I definitely don't want to waste my time. There's 3 reasons. That's when I'll go into that.
Yeah.
When I feel like this just is not, I need to grab this appointment by the jowls and just shake it a little bit, So jowls. We need to use the word jowls.
We do. I'm going to write that down. We're going to use that.
Yeah. Whole episode,
jowls.
So guys, those are some things that we've thought of.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why can't I close? I would encourage you, let's put a bow on it with this. Get uncomfortable.
Yes.
If you're not closing, get uncomfortable.
Yeah. Know your products. Like, that's the one we talk about. Know your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Know your stuff.
Know your stuff, ask the hard questions, and start, and let us know how it goes. Guys, we really do appreciate when you guys say, hey, I listened to this episode and I started doing this and it failed miserably. We just know that you're listening.
Yeah.
We appreciate
that's
that.
all we heard was that they watched the episode.
They watched or listened to the episode.
And we love you.
Great job as always, man. Appreciate you.
Great to be here.
Awesome. Guys, we do appreciate you. We appreciate how you guys are listening, tuning in, liking, subscribing, all this stuff. We want to see you at the boot camps. We want to see you out on the road. We want to hear your objections, your complaints, your compliments. All of that stuff really keeps us going. And so please be sending those in. MedicareSalesPlaybook.com is where you can go suggest a topic, suggest a guest. We've got a few of those. We appreciate that. But mostly, guys, we thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we will see you next time on the Medicare Sales Playbook.